Behind the Shades.
We live in a time now where there's more women in the working environment than ever before, right? And
Yes.
as a result, we have women who are perhaps having children later on in life as a
Mhm.
result. But you come along and you're like, ladies, you can do both perhaps at the same time. You just need a little bit of guidance because maybe generations ago, it was work, family, then so on. It was more of like a structure where you did one after the other. But many women these days are trying to do two or more at the same time, right? So, what are some of the difficulties that the women face when they're trying to navigate between career woman, wife, mother? How do you help them with that?
Yeah. A lot of it comes down to, I take kind of women on a small little journey of self-exploration of their core beliefs. Um, you know, like you said, a while back, me, my mom expected me to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, why would I do anything different? That's what moms do. And I was like, no, I have bigger, better dreams for myself. And it wasn't dismissive of those who stay at home. I just personally knew I wanted to work and be a mom. I wanted to do both. So I think some of the myths, that women struggle with is the time. How do there's only 24 hours in a day, where I say you get 24 hours in a day, right? You get 24 hours and you get to choose where you want to spend it. So going to that core beliefs of what's truly important, what's really meaningful to you, that's kind of where it starts. But, with that is, do I have to pause my career and miss out on advancement opportunities because I have young children, or we're in this phase of growing our family and I can't do too much, where I'm here to say, not with 100% guarantee because I'm not your employer, but you don't have to put it on pause. There are things that you can do to learn how to manage and navigate all of those tiny like little intricacies that are in there to make it work for you. You can do that. Another thing that where the pain is at is, as a working mom, we often then not only just lose ourselves, but we become very disconnected from our spouses, our partners, our friends. It kind of becomes an isolated, lonely world out there, especially when our children are young, because we're not going anywhere. We're home, we're taking care of our babies. It's too much work and effort to like pack up everything. Paying for a babysitter is expensive. So we often just kind of conform to this space that there's not really a social life for me anymore. There's not really a world out there where I can coexist and do those things. And I'm here to say, you can do those things, but it is a lot about really understanding what works within your means. Where I'll say real quick is most women, and again, that was me, very much judgmental, not of other people, but mostly ourselves, in that comparison mode where, look at that mom. Like, how does she do that? Right? Why can't I be that good? I'm not good enough. Right. And then we start, or if we're struggling in our career, and again, we get into that mode of self-talk that's defeating, it's doubting, it's not helpful. And again, that is a part of this transformation of really understanding what is your internal script? How do you help yourself there? So for a lot of moms, it's time, energy. Who am I at this point in my life? Did I sacrifice everything for my family, for my career, that I no longer get to be my own unique person? And then ultimately, it's just trying to balance it all. And again, I will never be a person who say it's easy, especially in the beginning phases of learning how to do this type of work for yourself. But once you get there, it's like anything else. It's a belief system. It's how you go about living your life. and it becomes instinctual. And therefore you don't have to spend as much time and energy in that process.
You mentioned time, energy, and who am I? Right. And I like that because that could be applied to motherhood, fatherhood. It could be applied to so many different areas of our life. When you
Yes.
were on your journey, Kim, are these obstacles that you faced as you're trying to figure out who you are, how you're going to spend your time, and where you're going to get the energy to be all of these different types of people to so many different people?
Yeah, absolutely. All of them probably plus 20 others that I couldn't find it. And so it probably was about 10 years ago. I was working in an environment that, in the mental health world, and it was a very high stress environment, but I was very passionate about the work. And so I thought, like, I just work harder and like better outcomes for my clients. But I was on call 24/7. So just when I'd be, going to pick the kids up, yeah, I need you to come back in and deal with a crisis. Then my spouse is like, I never see you. I don't know where you are. And it was really hard for me to not be angry and to not be like, it's my work's fault. It's, my husband needs to figure this out. Like, he sees how busy I am. And, my kids, like, why are they so needy? Why do they need all of this mom energy? I don't have it. And then guilt. The guilt just overwhelmed me to a place that even as a therapist, I didn't know what to do with it. It was eating me from the inside out. And so I did what, most people don't like to do. And I literally just said, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't live in this. Just the days are going by and I just feel like I'm existing in them. I have no idea what's happening on around me. I'm literally surviving. And this went on for probably a good 3, 4, 5 years before I kind of, experienced all the ups and downs and, like, again, trying all of these strategies, and I'm going to get a planner and I'm going to ask for help and I'm going to, voice my opinion with work that I got to, set some boundaries, but then I'm so quick to say yes for the next thing that they ask me to do. And I said, hey, Kim, like, literally, you can't function like this anymore. You are no good to your children. You are no good to your career. You are no good to your husband. You are no good to your friends, your family. Like, you're losing all of the things that you work so hard at. Like, it didn't make sense to me. And I had to sit in that for a while and came to the realization that I actually could do something about it, that it was me. And that's always the scariest thing when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, shoot, like, I'm the problem. And I am not really good at putting myself in spaces that help me to be successful. I'm continuing to find spaces that validate how awful this is. I'm continuing to say yes and not respect my no. I'm continuing to put time and energy into things that really don't have meaning for me. So why do I keep doing that? And that was when the transformation really hit home and the traction started. And again, I just became this whole, I won't say I'm this perfect person. I'm far from that, but I felt like I could do it because I was choosing where to put my time and energy. Like I said, if I wake up and I'm like, it's just another day, it's just going to go right by me and I don't know how I'm going to get it all done, versus, hey, today's a different day. I know I have, I like my 8 hours. I got 16 hours to get everything done. And if I use that time in a manner that is helpful to me, I can at least feel good about it. I can celebrate small wins along the way, which, again, if I'm not over here wasting my energy thinking about how much I'm failing and I'm putting that energy into the things that are actually going well and keep me motivated, it's a game changer. It literally makes a huge difference. Something that small of thinking about how you look at what you do every single day. So I went through all of the lows to a place where I was about ready to quit my job, change the feel like I'm never working with people again. My children were, getting out of the toddler phases. I wasn't sure what that was going to look like. My relationship was very rocky at that time. And mostly just because I wasn't prioritizing. I thought I was prioritizing everything really well. I was a great multitasker. No, I wasn't. I was just trying to make things come together. I had no plan. It was just constantly trying to just stay afloat. And so that was kind of where I really had to recognize that within myself, I actually had the ability to control that. And that is, if anyone's experienced that, like an amazing feeling to know that you get to control the things that are within your control, and the things that you can't, you don't put all of your time and energy there. And so that was for me where it really just, I kind of had to get to that place where it was me, which wasn't easy, especially, being that working mom. That meant I had to kind of critique my work life, my motherly life, my relational life. And then again, I had no idea who I was at that time. I was just a person just trying to make it work. But that wasn't who I dreamt of being. That wasn't my intent when I started the journey of creating a family and trying to find a career that I was passionate about. And that was really defeating. That was depressing, thinking about, like, I spent a chunk of my life not enjoying any of it. And so that's kind of how I got here.